Today on CityCast Philly, a new drug called xylazine has saturated Philly's drug supply. It's also known as Tranq, which is short for what it actually is, an animal tranquilizer, and it's leaving users with gaping wounds. Today, I talk with Kensington Hospital CEO about a wound van that has been treating the effects of this drug and why they are expanding their services now. It's Thursday, February 23rd, 2023. I'm Tranq Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Kathleen Lally, you're the CEO of Kensington Hospital and the lead on the wound van services that's helping care for these xylazine wounds. What are you seeing on the streets?
We're seeing more and more deeper, more infected wounds that are harder to heal, wounds that are now on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts of the body. And it seems like the wounds are getting more and more. We thought the little sample we had was just this little sample, and it's so much more than anyone could ever imagine.
Can you just kind of maybe describe what these wounds look like?
So they can go from a little sore with a scab on it all the way down to where you see the muscle and the bone.
Wow.
So they can be so extensive, and they can be the whole where you actually look at their leg and they no longer have a shin from their knee down. It's just all open and filleted and dirty.
Wow. When did you first see the effects of this drug in the city?
So I would say within the last year and a half, from running a detox rehab unit, we were noticing that people were coming in with these terrible wounds, and they were really having a hard time trying to get into treatment because that is a barrier. That was a big barrier to treatment.
So they can't go into those treatment centers if they have the wounds?
That is correct.
Got it.
So what they normally would do is they would send them to the hospital, which is where really they should be going to get these wounds treated. And then once they were cleared from the hospital, then they would allow them to go into treatment. Well, that didn't really work because they don't want to go to the hospital.
Kathleen, why is there a mistrust of the healthcare system? Why won't people go there for the help?
I think it's stigmatized still. The patients feel they're stigmatized. You know, they feel that and whether it's right or wrong, it's what they feel. They might walk in and say, yeah, they're taking her first before me because I'm a drug addict. You know, so that's their thought process. So there's a lot of mistrust that people look down on them because of their addiction.
And that's why you have these van services.
That is correct. So we go out. We have a non-judgmental zone where they can come. We take care of their wounds. We meet them where they're at, meaning that great treatment, or what we call standard of care treatment, probably they should be in a hospital. So that's the best place to get the wounds treated. However, we know that if we don't treat them, they're not going to get any treatment. So we try to meet them where they're at, so at least we can try to save some of these people. These people were losing their legs and their arms because of this.
Because of those wounds?
Because of the wounds. They were literally getting amputations.
Wow.
So we go out to try to buffer that some, because some treatment's better than no treatment. And what we found is that when we got the trust of them, some of them come back every single day to the wound care van to get their wound changed, to get their treatment done. And we have seen significant improvement in a lot of these patients.
Kathleen, when did you launch the wound van service?
So it was part of the 100-Day Challenge. So the 100-Day Challenge was a program that the city had started last summer. They had started to see what can we do for the homelessness for the drug addiction. So part of that, out of that initiative came, what are we going to do with these wounds? So then speaking with the city had said to us, would you be interested in doing a pilot program with the city in the 100-day challenge to see if we can help with these wounds? So we did that pilot program. The pilot program ended November, and our numbers were staggering. That was probably one of the best things that came out of the 100-day challenge. So after that, the city had said, well, we can't stop this. We need to continue this. So now we're continuing this with the city for another year. So it'll go from November till next November, at least.
Is this the only van that you have in Kensington?
So we have one van, and we just purchased a second van to go out in Kensington because we're at a small little place in Kensington, but we know that the problem is so much bigger than that one corner that we sit on.
Where are you in Kensington?
So we're on Kensington Avenue right across from the Rock Ministry. So that's where our van sits Monday through Friday. And then the second van that we just purchased will go to another spot, wherever we think is a good spot where people need our help in Kensington.
When can we expect to see the new van roll out in Kensington?
We're hoping within the next 6 weeks.
Are the services free?
Yes, there's no charge.
And how many people do you see a day?
So that can vary. We can see 5, we can see 20, we can see 25. It varies on the day, it varies on the weather. So at the end of the year, I told you we started in May, and at the end of the project in November, we saw over 1,200 clients. But with that, it's you see that many patients, you saw at least 2,000, 3,000 wounds because they have multiple wounds.
Are treating the effects of this drug xylazine different than treating the impacts of other drugs like heroin or fentanyl?
Xylazine is harder to treat. Well, first of all, wound-wise, I could tell you it's harder to treat because if you used heroin before, we were used to abscesses at the injection site. So if you inject in your arm, you could get an abscess in your arm. With xylazine, the problem with that is it gets in your bloodstream and it can open up on your head. It can open up on your face, your leg, anywhere. And it can be 3, 4, 5, 6 wounds that open up. So just because you inject it in your arm, this big wound could be on your face.
How have people been, responding to the van and the services that y'all are providing?
So I think that the patients or the clients like it. We did do testimonials from some of the clients to see that. Do they think this is a valuable service? How do they see us? It came back loud and clear that this is definitely a service that they want and that they need. Mm-hmm. Secondly, it also came through that they really felt comfortable. They felt like they were going in a place that was, as they called it, a non-judgmental place to be.
Kathleen, how are you doing in all of this? I mean, I can't imagine seeing this day in, day out.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but it's also rewarding. So when you see that patient that comes back 3, 4 times, because now we might have healed their arm, but now they're back because their leg, because they're not stopping using the drugs. So it's rewarding when they come back and you help somebody. As horrible as it is to see, you also know that you're at least doing something to help them. Even if it's just taking it, cleaning it, putting a new dressing, it just makes them feel better, and at least you're giving them a chance, to hopefully save the limb or whatever they have. Or we have had success in getting them in a hospital, and we have had success in getting them into treatment. So that's our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is to get their wounds treated and get their addiction treated.
And Kathleen, before I let you go, what else can be done to help mitigate the impact of Tranq on Philadelphians?
That's a great question. I think we need to focus, yes, on the Tranq. I don't think we'll get rid of the Tranq because it's cheaper to cut with Tranq. But I think that our goal needs to be to see how many people can we get off the street into treatment. And I think that if we put our focus on that, I think that's where you're going to see the biggest impact.
Kathleen Lally, CEO of Kensington Hospital, thank you so much for informing us about this and for joining me on CityCast Philly.
Thank you.
The wound van is located at 2755 Kensington Avenue. And here's what else Philly's talking about. Mayoral candidate and former council member Sherelle Parker got a major endorsement this week. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Philadelphia Building Trades Council, which consists of more than 30 construction unions, officially backed Parker. It's still unclear if the endorsement will make as much of a difference for Parker as it did for Mayor Jim Kenney when he ran back in 2015. Only 3 mayoral hopefuls have received endorsements so far from major unions. And if you or your child applied and got into a Philly charter school, you only have 1 day left to claim your seat. The deadline to accept an offer is Friday, February 24th. Hey, y'all. Here is the CityCast Philly tip of the day. Your public library card can get you way more than just free books. At different branches throughout the city, you can actually check out everything from a home gym kit to a musical instrument to even cake pans in fun shapes. You can browse the catalog by format to find all kinds of treasures. This is cool. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If this episode was helpful for you, share this with a neighbor. Rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the Friday News Roundup. See you then. Bye.